Hello, this is Claus Jensen. Today I'm going to analyze a game that was played only yesterday in the Corus 2010 tournament. In this tournament, Alexander Shirov has scored an amazing 4 wins from his first 4 games in the tournament. And in this video, I will take a look at his brilliant 4th round win against home favorite Jan Smeets of the Netherlands. Shirov is playing the white pieces in this game. And I'm not going into too much detail in the opening, so let's just walk through the game, the moves. It's Petrov defense, mainline moves, until in fact now we've played 16 moves and it's still mainline, or at least it has been played before. And here in this position, in my database, Queen D2 has never been played before, but this was what Shirov played. Knight C4, bishop takes, queen takes, and knight E3, which was the whole idea of this maneuver. Knight F3, knight D2, knight F1, queen B5, C4, queen D7, C5, bishop G6, rook A to C1, C6, knight C4, F6. And this was a very fast run through of the opening moves and some of the middle game moves. And at this point of the game, we can say that the position is fairly even. Shirov has a space advantage and a possible outpost on D6 for his knight. But there's definitely not too much in it. And perhaps Shirov realized that to get another full point, he had 3 already. He needed something more than just solid positional moves here. So in this position, he decided to play a very interesting bishop sack. He played bishop takes h6. And the big question here is this sack pure madness, or is it pure genius from Shirov? And what happened in the game was that, of course, Smeets took with the g-pawn. He accepted the sack. That was the only reasonable thing to do. Queen takes, bishop h7, rook e3, bishop f8, rook check on g3, king goes to h8, queen takes with check on f6, and bishop g7. And it seems now that Smeets has built a good defense with his 2 bishops protecting his king. But of course, we can also see that Shirov has gotten 3 pawns for his bishop. But the question now is that enough for Shirov? He has to move his queen. He moves to queen g5. And now Smeets has a decision to make here. I think in the game he took the pawn on d4, so that Shirov had only 2 pawns for the bishop. But this gives Shirov some opportunities of tactics in the d file, as we shall see later. So perhaps an option for Smeets was to play rook e6 here, which is a very flexible move. It could prepare rook g6, or rook doubling rooks in the e file, or rook f8, taking control of both e and f files. So rook e6 looks like a good defensive move. But back to the game, Smeets took on d4, and rook d1 followed, of course, because now the bishop is pinned in the d file. An option here for Smeets could be to give back the bishop immediately by taking on f2 with check. And after king takes, rook f8 check, king e1, and rook c to e8 with check and knight e3, queen c7, and Smeets has back the piece and is a pawn down, but I think now it's actually Smeets who has the more active, the better placed pieces. So this could be an interesting option for Smeets. But Smeets played rook f8. Of course, threatening on f2. King h2 followed. Shirov moves his king away from checks, and in this position, the engine Rybka suggests that Smeets should play rook c to e8, and after this, Shirov has no better than queen h6, and then could follow something like queen d8, planning to go to f6, knight d6, queen f6, exchange of queens, and Shirov can take the exchange on e8, and this is leading to a very interesting and very complex endgame. And so this was surely an option for Smeets. But in the game, Smeets played rook c to d8, and this is a mistake, because now Shirov can play knight e5. Smeets cannot take this knight because the bishop is still pinned in the d file, and it's threatening some checks on g6 and f7, as we shall see. But first came queen c7 from Smeets, and of course here the idea is that this knight moves away, then the rook is pinned. Oops. Then once again, problems with arrows all over here. Then the rook is pinned here because the king is on h2. So, but here Shirov has another sack, the second sack of the game. He plays rook takes d4, rook takes, and then follows knight g6 check. And if Smeets had decided to take on g6 with the bishop, then would follow queen h6 check, queen h7, and then the rook is falling on f8. And for example, queen g8, queen takes, king takes, rook takes g6. Then this would lead to a winning endgame for Shirov. A rook endgame, but with 3 connected pass pawns, then this should be no problem for Shirov. But Smeets, after knight g6 check, played king g7 instead, and then followed knight takes f8 check. And there's no need to play on here. If Smeets take the knight, then follows queen f6 check, and then the rook is falling on d4. So in this position, Smeets is hopelessly lost, and he resigned the game in this position. I think this game it was of course a very nice attacking game from Shirov, but Smeets definitely had some chances of saving the game. But it's amazing how a guy like Smeets, who's rated 26-57, can collapse so fast as a result of a dubious bishop sack. At move 31, Smeets was perfectly okay. At move 37, he resigns the game. So I hope you enjoyed this explosive Shirov performance, and I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.